welcome you to Express Radio, the American sports show on a not-so-gorgeous day in downtown Cardiff. The World Series. Here, a recap. Game 1 was last night. The Rays lost. And we've also got NHL, NFL. We've got a preview on the basketball, a little bit of that. Scott Henderson is with us tonight, as well as William Hisler, to give us an insight on the upcoming latest sports news. William and Scott, how are you guys doing?
Doing very well. Glad to be here.
So you have NFL and NHL news. You don't need to go about it right away, but in general, what's going on?
So we're going to be covering the Tom Brady situation. Tom Brady, of course, out for the rest of the season from the first game this season, and it appears that he might have more surgery coming out from Boston today. Yep. Staying with the Pats, we've also got Rodney Harrison and his possible career-ending injury. Okay. And more basic injuries all the way with NFL there today, with updates on Tony Romo from the Dallas Cowboys, DiGiorno of the Bills, and Bengals first round picks, and why the curse of the first round pick.
That sounds absolutely exciting. Coming up on Express Radio, we'll also have a recap of Game 1 of the 2008 World Series between the Rays and the Phillies. Let's take a listen to the final out of that game.
Express Radio.
That was hockey. You're listening to the American Sports Show here on Express Radio alongside William and Scott. Let's take it on to Scott for your latest NFL news.
Okay, so we had the big weekend NFL this week. Starting off with actual reports that have came out within the last couple of days that Brett Favre has actually been speaking to the Detroit Lions. He's actually denied all accounts of this. The accusation being that he had actually connected to Matt Millen, the chairman of the Detroit Lions, and gave them tips on the Green Bay Packers and how to defeat their offense and defense.
Obviously a major move during the off-season. Brett Favre, the big NFL star, moving from the Packers to the Jets, and now you're saying that he is alleged of having given some defensive tips or to the opponents.
Basically, what's happened is in the Detroit Lions game with the Packers, which the Packers subsequently won 48-25 anyway, they alleged that Matt Millen had been actually talking to Brett Favre, and as we know, the animosity over the split with Favre and the Green Bay Packers was actually big news in the summer. It's also emerged now that apparently he's been talking to everyone. So we've got quarterback Tony Romo from the Dallas Cowboys has allegedly been speaking to Brett Favre as well about tips on how to beat the Green Bay Packers. So a lot coming on, but still Brett Favre's denied all allegations and said that he's basically just friends with them and went hunting.
That's some pretty amazing story, because you think about Brett Favre and his impact in the NFL, such a big player, such a big move to the New York Jets.
And faithful players for the Green Bay Packers.
Very faithful player.
16
and all of
consecutive seasons.
Absolutely. Thank you for that highlight. And now all of a sudden he's involved in this allegation that he's obviously denying, but I don't think that he'd be alleged in the first place had all this not happened.
There's no smoke without fire. Yep. And I think that possibly we're actually seeing repercussions of the good guy image kind of falling down as he's went to the Jets. So I mean, I don't actually know how much of this is true and how much is press coming out of Wisconsin.
Right.
That's the thing, we don't know, so we can't accuse him.
Yeah, I mean, there's... Sorry, a bit of an awkward silence there because I had to reset the background music. But, yeah, I mean, it's a big story, and Brett Favre is a big star, and anything that's going to happen around him is going to impact NHL. It's going to impact the franchises he is with and the franchises that he's played for in the past, that concerning the Packers. But I also understand, Scott, you've got some other NFL news for us.
Well, we've got... news coming out today about Tom Brady, who has actually contracted an infection on his knee.
Maybe time to retire?
Tom Brady, time to retire. Hello.
Yeah, it's all coming out now. But it should be a second surgery. Now, if this happens, and if this is actually true, we're talking about not only just this season he'll be out for, but possibly half of next as well.
Oh, that would be very bad for the Patriots. Obviously, just in their second game, they lost Tom Brady. Second or third game, I think it was the second game. They lost Tom Brady on a nasty-looking injury on the replay. You could see the way the knee kind of bent in the wrong direction. So, yeah, I mean, they lose Tom Brady. They lose a lot of momentum on that team. Remember the undefeated 16-0, or was it 17-0?
16.
16-0, and then they lost the Super Bowl. So, okay, they lost the Super Bowl. Okay, you can accept that. You come back next year, you try to do better. All of a sudden, you lose Tom Brady. That's got to take it out of your team. And now your news comes in that he might be out for more than a year. That's really got to take it out of the Patriots.
Especially seeing as this weekend gone in the game against the Broncos, they've lost Rodney Harrison, possibly a career-ending injury. Thigh rupture. And if that's the case, I mean, Rodney Harrison himself, 35-year-old safety, good player, reliable player, 15 years with the Patriots.
Right.
And now it looks like it could be all over.
Those are some big losses for the Patriots. You look at them, you think, Bill Belichick, what's he got left in the tank when he loses two big players like that?
I believe it's not the end of an era. The Patriots will keep dominating the AFC Championship. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And on one point, you can say, well, this is nothing, but on the other, you can say this could be the end of an era. I mean, Tom Brady is perhaps the best NFL quarterback.
I agree with you for the moment, but the Patriots aren't just Tom Brady.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's very true.
You've just got to look at Bill Belichick himself is bringing through an awful lot of unknown talent here. I mean, not necessarily unknown, but just not that first round pick talent that we've been seeing. I mean, Randy Moss aside, we've got some people like Wes Welker, and now we've got Sammy Morris, who I don't know if you saw the game on Saturday.
No, I didn't watch it.
Absolutely stunning performance. Ran 186 yards, 18 rushes.
Wow.
Stunning performance.
Well, he's hot for the moment.
Yeah, and also Matt Castle. We've been waiting for a strong performance from him to come in and replace Tom Brady, and he's really came in and done it. He threw 3 touchdown passes. One was over 62 yards, and it was unbelievable.
On the spot.
Spectacular display from him.
Well, that's good to hear from that. You got any more NFL news you want to display, or shall we get a song going?
Just quickly, just go through. Tony Romo also injured. Doesn't look like he'll be back until mid-November now. Now that's a big loss because they have went none and three since losing Romo. So now they have 2 big games coming up this week against Tampa Bay, who were on fire against the. Against the Atlanta. Against Atlanta, and now we've got the Giants coming up in 2 weeks' time. That's a massive game for them, and it's an away game.
The defending Super Bowl champion Giants take on, which team were you?
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. That'll be a big matchup, and it's probably either Sunday or Saturday?
I think it's going to be next Sunday.
Next Sunday, so you'll have to tune in on whatever time they play. They usually play at night. Actually, no, they usually play at around 7, which is kind of a nice thing. 7 p.m. our time, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's usually at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. their
Eastern time. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, hey, you're listening to the Express Radio American Sports Show, and on your way next, it's Heartbreaker from Metronomy. We welcome you back to the American Sports Show here on Express. It is 6:22 p.m. Let's take a look at some little NFL news brought to you by Scott.
Hiya. So we'll come back to it. We've got Kellen Winslow from the Cleveland Browns has been up appealing through the NFL Players Association his suspension. Now, I don't know if you've heard about his suspension, but he contracted an infection, and he didn't believe that the Cleveland Browns done enough to get back to helping him. So he made public his distaste at this and was suspended for disparaging remarks against the club. Now, with him failing this, we don't know what side, obviously, the Players Association are going to take, but if this comes to anything, then we could see a franchise being put to the sword by one of its players.
That would be an interesting development indeed. Anything else in the NFL?
Yeah, we've got the curse of the first round pick for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Now, this is the second time in three years that they have lost a linebacker first pick. This Saturday it was Keith Rivers was placed on the IR list after sustaining a broken jaw. Now, 3 years ago, I don't know if you remember, there was a linebacker called David Pollack. His career was ended in his second year of tenure at the Bengals with a cracked bone in his neck.
Okay, so this is kind of like a curse that keeps on going.
We don't actually know what's going on here, but it's starting to look bad, seeing as they're both linebackers, both both first round picks.